I scammed someone quite a while ago. It keeps me up at night. Now, this wasn't recently at all. This was like a year and a half ago. I was blazed and bored and wanted steam money for nothing, so I decided stupidly to try and scam someone. This kind Australian woman ended up sending me £10, but by the time she realized she'd been had, the money was already in my account. Now, I feel f'kin' terrible tbh. I know it wasn't a lot of money at all, and I know it was ages ago, but I think about it a lot. I made another spare account from my main to post this. Now, I know her name, but that's it. I wish there was a way I could get back in contact, apologize and perhaps return the money. It's probably silly AF, and she likely hasn't thought about it since it happened, but it's just one of the many things that sit in my mind at night, and I feel bad about it. This was over Omegle, by the way, and I know a few of you are probes gonna be like, well, if you sent money to an Omegle stranger, what do you expect? But that's not the point. This woman was being kind, showing humanity, and I took advantage of that, and if I could turn back time I wouldn't have. It's by far not the worst thing I've done in my life, not even close, but that's not the point. Taking advantage of someone's kindness is wrong and pretty disgusting behavior, and I guess I wanted to make this post partly in punishment to myself. So yes, I have been a filthy, morally bankrupt scammer in my lifetime, and I wholeheartedly do not recommend it unless you're an unfeeling psychopath. Blez, if by any chance you're reading this, I'm sorry, mate. You are being kind to me and I FCKED you over. Please don't get the wrong idea. Not every stranger is like that. Don't be discouraged doing nice things for people. I was just in a shit time in my life and you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Nothing personal. You got my full apologies and a massive ew for drinks all night if you ever down my ends. Sorry if this isn't juicy enough or as schlish enough or there wasn't enough self-flagellation, but TBH, I didn't make this post for you guys, the Reddit community. I made it for my conscience and the person I scammed. I have been conning family and friends out of money for years and I struggle to stop. So here it goes. Never thought it'd be saying these words to anyone, let alone the entire internet, and I am terrified my friends and family will find out about this, but here it goes. Since I moved country at age 12 I never had much money, and being autistic at the time undiagnosed, I was at a complete loss at how to make friends, and this is where it all began, I think. I pretended like I came from a very rich household, and I started stealing money from my mum. Initially small, insignificant amounts, but it progressed to the point where I was throwing $1 coins behind me for the other children to pick up, and it made me feel amazing and superior, but I regretted it shortly after. This then progressed to the next worse level. My step-grandma came over from yet another country. She was around 80 at the time, I believe. And I would go through her purse whenever she wasn't in the room, and all in all over 2 weeks I must have stolen around $800. Felt cool for a little bit, but again horrific afterwards. This is when I was first discovered. She woke up and had $80 missing from her purse, which freaked her out. Understandable, of course. My family shouted at me. I was around 13 at the time, and they presumed that I went into her room in the middle of the night to steal money from her and made me sleep locked in the basement for the Next few days, I obviously still went to school and ate dinner and all that at the table, but when it came to nighttime I stayed in an air mattress in the basement. This was the first time I properly felt shame, like complete and utter shame, and it devastated her because this was the first time she had ever met me and I messed it up. This really set me straight until I was about 15-16. This contains a tiny mention to a partner, so to abide by the rules it'll be brief. I wanted her to love me, so the same way I tried to make friends I tried to have a relationship. My mother told me the pin to her card as she trusted me again, and I spent 2 weeks buying things left, right and center to appease everyone, all my friends. I am aware they weren't really my friends. I am aware. Now she was hit with a bill for around $2,000 which devastated her. Now she makes good money, don't get me wrong, but not enough where she can just shrug off a bill for $2,000. These things couldn't be refunded either because I always insisted that I throw away the receipts, because I think deep down I knew it'd always be caught. I am now nearing my 20s, and I'm still paying off that same debt to my mum. This was also the last time I stole from my family, which concludes this half of the confession. Now moving on to the scamming friends part of my confession. I believe I was 16-17 at the time of this happening. Sorry, I wish I knew exactly, but I have been repressing a lot of this. Either way, I am quite tech savvy, so a lot of my friends and family come to me to help repairing their PCs, whether it's hardware or software. Now my best friend in the world, I became friends with him after I stopped stealing from my parents. I absolutely love this man and adore his family, who treat me like I'm their own son, and most importantly they trust me, and I abused that. I went around his grandma's house to fix her PC, which was having all sorts of issues, one of which being a virus. So that gave me the idea that to help boost my bank balance once I fixed her PC, I said I had to pay, I believe, $175 for a lifetime license of some antivirus, which was a complete and utter lie, and I just pocketed the money she gave me. Yes, I did fix her issue, but it didn't cost me a penny. And out of everything I have done, this is what I feel the most shame for. To this day I always try and admit to my mistake by helping his family in any way, shape or form, but I will always carry this guilt, because I can't lose my best friend. I set a trash can on fire and burned my classmate's dad when I was a kid. So it was about 8 years ago, and me and my friend were playing with matches. I know now. Really fucking stupid idea. What we did was that thing where you put the match upside down on the box and keep it in place with your index finger, and then flick it. So while we were having this fun, we would shake the matches so they'd go out and throw them in the trash, which of course had to come to an end in some way. At a particular trash can, either one of us, I still don't know for sure which of us it was, didn't put the match out all the way, and the then plastic trash can set on fire, a while after we had left. But the following day a classmate came up to me and told the story how she thought some then teenagers threw a lit cigarette in the trash and set it on fire, which burned her dad's hands pretty bad. And of course I played along with the story, completely pretending to be shocked. And to this day when I walk past the now stainless steel trash can, I wonder I am indeed the person who scarred him. I used to try on clothes owned by the woman who hired me to babysit. While in high school, I used to babysit for a couple in my area. They were fairly well off and the mother was also quite fashionable. At night, I used to go into the closets and try on her clothes. This included dresses, heels, fur coats and probably a few other things I don't remember. I was always careful to not damage anything and leave it as I left it, but I feel kind of bad about it now. I stole medical marijuana from my grandpa with Parkinson's. My grandpa had a lot of blood clots as well as Parkinson's. He got prescribed some medical marijuana from the doc to help calm his central nervous system. He didn't know that I knew that he smoked it, much less that I knew where the stash was. About every week I would go in there at like 2 a.m. and roll about 2-3 joints so that I could smoke with my friends in high school. Hey, that's the way of the road, I guess.